Hello and a very good morning. It's 10 a.m. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Welcome to this newscast with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. No over-the-counter exchange of old 500 and 1,000 rupee notes from today. Use of old notes to make public utility payments extended up to December 15th. Demonetization debate to continue in the Rajya Sabha today. On Thursday, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh warned GDP growth will plunge by 2 percentage points. Government rejects contention. India asks Pakistan to focus energies to stem the rot of terrorism instead of making baseless allegations. Remarks after reports of Pakistan setting up special group to expose alleged atrocities in Kashmir by India. And at least 100 Shia pilgrims killed in a suicide truck bomb attack in Iraq. Islamic State claims responsibility. Well, the government has issued new guidelines on the use of old currency notes. From today onwards, over-the-counter exchange of old notes won't be allowed. However, some more categories have been added to the exempted list. Old currencies can be used for utility bill payments till December 15th now.
Exchange of old currency notes of 500 and 1,000 rupees over the counter has been stopped. The old notes can, however, continue to be deposited in bank accounts up to December 30. Also, the use of old currency notes for payment of public utility bills has been extended up to 15th December. However, some more services have been added under the exempted category. Now, payment of fees up to Rs 2,000 per student has been allowed in schools and colleges run by central and state governments, municipalities and local bodies. Payment towards prepaid mobile top-up to a limit of Rs 500 per recharge has also been allowed. Purchase from consumer cooperative stores has been limited to Rs 5,000 at a time. The payment of current and arrear dues to utilities will be limited to only water and electricity. Foreign citizens have now been allowed to exchange foreign currency up to Rs 5,000 per week. And payments at toll plazas can be made through old 500 rupee notes from 3rd to 15th of next month. The toll-free arrangement will continue on highways up to 2nd December. However, payments for the transactions under all the exempted categories will now be accepted only through old 500 rupee notes. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley held a video conference with CEOs of all public sector and private banks to review the status following the withdrawal of old currency. Jaitley said the purpose of the exercise is to move towards a cashless economy.
Now, one of the principal objects of the reform with regard to currency that has been undertaken by the government is that physical currency must shrink, but the economy has to expand and the trade has to expand. And therefore, what shrinks has to be substituted and further expanded by the digital mode.
The opposition, however, has been highly critical of the government. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee saying interim changes won't work as they are not a solution to the issue. She claimed vast sections of society will be totally left out because of the centre's policy. The Congress said the centre is misleading the people.
It's a very harsh decision in the sense that, people who earn wages, which they are getting in old currency, same day they cannot go to the bank. They never said that, exchange will be stopped on a particular day. When they take decision, they don't even care for the hardship of the people or what type of problem people will have.
The centre has informed the Supreme Court that the purpose of the government's dramatic announcement on November 8th was to eradicate black money and slush funds operating since independence, which allowed a parallel economy to exist that hit the poor and the middle class. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's how people from major cities in the country reacted to the new guidelines given by the centre.
इसमें तो बहुत दिक्कत होगा क्योंकि अभी जाएंगे बैंक जाएंगे ना ऑफिस जाएंगे। हम लोग तो प्राइवेट फर्म में काम करते हैं, इसलिए तो पैसा वैसा नहीं मिलेंगे तो कैसे काम चलेगा। पूरा हफ्ता भर का रेशन वेशन मार्केट भी जाना पड़ेगा, सब जगह से दिक्कत है। अभी तो प्रॉब्लम ही है और प्रॉब्लम में हम लोग है।
24th सेंचुरी में रह रहे हैं तो होना ही चाहिए अकाउंट, अगर नहीं है तो खोल लीजिए। और इतने दिन तो टाइम दिया है एक्सचेंज करने के लिए, अगर किसी ने किया नहीं होगा तो अकाउंट में डालना चाहिए, बस सही ठीक ही तो है। ठीक है तो क्या है
ना, मैं इसका स्वागत कर रहा है। ठीक है, जो काम अभी भारत का प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी किया, ये हम लोग का थोड़ा सा तकलीफ हो रहा है, लेकिन ये सही डिसीजन है।
ये गलत है एक्चुअली। इसके लिए 2-3 महीने का टाइम देना चाहिए, क्योंकि पब्लिक एक बैग सभी लोग जाके लाइन लगाते हैं, किसी का नोट चेंज होता है, किसी का नहीं होता है, लोग अपना काम छोड़ के जाते हैं, 2 दिन लगता है, 3 दिन लगता है। ये गलत है। कम से कम 2 से 3 महीने का टाइम होना चाहिए।
एक्सचेंज तो नहीं करना चाहिए था। एक्चुअली ये सब गलत बात है। एक्चुअली ये गरीब लोगों को सताने का काम है। अभी गरीब 2000 की नोट लेके सब्जी के जाएगा, 100 रुपए की सब्जी लेगा तो कोई 2000 रुपये उसको छुट्टा देगा नहीं।
हाँ सही है। इसमें एक एडवांटेज ये है, जो लोग सिर्फ एक्सचेंज कर रहे थे तो एटलीस्ट वो स्टॉप हो जाएगा, और जो आदमी लोग जेन्युइन आदमी लोग अकाउंट में जाके जमा करके ले सकते हैं, दैट्स अ पॉजिटिव साइन फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट।
इसमें सबसे पहले गवर्नमेंट को ऐसा करना था कि ताकि जो 31 दिसंबर तक पीरियड रखा हुआ था, वो पीरियड लगभग वो और थोड़ा एक्सटेंड करते, एक्चुअली 15 डेज मिनिमम, तो थोड़ा बहुत पब्लिक को भी रिलीफ मिल जाता, थोड़ा बहुत मार्केट में पैसा भी आ जाता, चिल्लर भी की दिक्कत नहीं पड़ती और पब्लिक को इतना सफर नहीं करना पड़ता था।
नहीं देखिए, इससे सब लोगों को तकलीफ हो रहा है, हम लोगों को भी बिजनेस में मार पड़ रहा है। अभी लोग पैसा नहीं है, इसकी वजह से सबका बिजनेस ये हो रहा है, बहुत तकलीफ हो रही है। अब हम लोग रोज के कमाने वाले हैं। अब ऐसे में अगर बैंक में 2000 ले जाके लाइन में खड़े रहेंगे तो फिर हम इधर काम क्या करेंगे।
जो कुछ है चल रहा ठीक है, लेकिन अभी ये समस्या गरीब वर्गों पर ज्यादा पड़ जाएगा। अभी इसके लिए समय थोड़ा ज्यादा मिल जाए तो लोग कुछ अपने हेल्प के लिए कुछ और कोशिश कर सकते हैं।
Well, the debate on demonetization will continue in the Rajya Sabha today. On Thursday, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh resumed the debate on demonetization in the upper house in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Calling demonetization a monumental management failure, Manmohan Singh cautioned that the GDP of the country could shrink by 2 percentage points due to its poor implementation. The TMC and the Samajwadi Party also slammed the demonetization move.
The cooperative banking system, which serves large number of people in the rural areas, is non-functional, has been prevented from handling cash. So, in all these measures convince me that the way the scheme has been implemented, it's a monumental management failure, and in fact, it is a case of organized loot and legalized plunder of the government.
Scathing words from the former Prime Minister on the government's decision to scrap high-value currency notes. Dr. Manmohan Singh's remarks came on a day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended Rajya Sabha during question hour. Thursday is the day allocated to questions pertaining to the Prime Minister's office. Dr. Singh hailed the objectives of the demonetization decision but warned that a 50-day period could be disastrous.
Prime Minister has said that we should wait for 50 days. Well, 50 days is a short period, but for those who are poor and deprived sections of the community, even 50 days torture can bring about disastrous effects. And that's why about 60 to 65 people have lost their lives, maybe more. And what is more is, what has been done can weaken and erode our people's confidence in the currency system and in the banking system.
Singh also stressed that frequent changes to the new policy, including revising amounts that people can withdraw, reflects poorly on the offices of the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister and the Reserve Bank of India. He also pointed out that the unorganized sector will take a severe hit due to the demonetization move.
Scheme of monetization, the way it has been implemented, will hurt agricultural growth in our country, will hurt small industry, will hurt all those people who are in the informal sectors of the economy.
Samajwadi Party's Naresh Agrawal alleged that the BJP unveiled the demonetization decision to reap political benefits in the upcoming Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections.
मैं तो कहूँगा कि सदन से पास होना चाहिए। भविष्य में अगर कोई चुनी हुई सरकार ऐसा निर्णय ले तो बिना दोनों सदन की परमिशन के किसी को निर्णय लेने का अधिकार नहीं। ये अधिकार पूरे देश का है, ये अधिकार पूरे देश की चुनी हुई जनता का है। और जनता का रिप्रेजेंटेशन हम लोग कर रहे हैं। जब तक सदन में डिस्कस न हो जाए कैसे इस तरीके का निर्णय ले लिया जाएगा। और ये निर्णय श्रीमन बहुत घातक है। मैं तो कहूंगा ये निर्णय देश के हित में नहीं लिया गया, ये निर्णय उत्तर प्रदेश के चुनाव को देखते हुए लिया गया।
Lashing out against the government, Derek O'Brien of the TMC stressed that dissident voices on demonetization shouldn't be dubbed anti-national.
Anyone who opposes your policy, Mr. Prime Minister ji, with all respect, anyone who opposes your policy is not for black money. Anyone who opposes your policy is not anti-national. Why are you giving us these lectures on corruption and black money? We oppose. We are opposing you because people are suffering. We are opposing you because we believe the economy will be killed.
Dr. Manmohan Singh's speech was preceded by sharp exchanges between opposition leaders and the finance minister.
अगर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी यहाँ सदन के अलग अलग लीडरों को सुनेंगे, डिबेट में हिस्सा लेंगे, यहाँ हमें संबोधित करेंगे, तो मेरी मांग होगी कि अभी 12 बजे से ही डिस्कशन शुरू हो जाना चाहिए।
थैंक यू। महत्वपूर्ण विषय है और हम भी चाहते हैं कि पहले दिन डिबेट हुई और डिबेट अच्छी चल रही थी और अचानक विपक्ष ने रणनीति बदल ली और डिबेट रोक दी। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी निश्चित रूप से इस बहस में हिस्सा लेंगे। विपक्ष से मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कि तुरंत डिबेट शुरू करें।
However, during question hour in the presence of Prime Minister, the House unanimously decided to resume the debate on demonetization that was initiated on the first day of the winter session of Parliament. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, 0 hour was stalled in the upper house on Thursday as the opposition and the government sparred over the demonetization issue. The opposition pressed for Prime Minister's presence while the government insisted on an immediate discussion. As the standoff prevailed, the house was adjourned till noon. The logjam over demonetization persisted in the upper house for the 6th day in a row. Soon after listed papers were laid and 0 hour began, Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad urged that the House should hear former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on demonetization. The chair also agreed to Azad's request.
शुरुआत वहीं से होती है, कुछ लोगों ने नहीं छोड़ी और माननीय भूतपूर्व प्रधानमंत्री डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी सुबह चाहते थे बोलना, लेकिन माननीय लीडर ऑफ द हाउस ने कहा था कि जब डिस्कशन शुरू हो जाए उस वक्त ये बोल सकते हैं। मेरे ख्याल में अब लीडर ऑफ द हाउस को कोई आपत्ति नहीं होनी चाहिए।
However, Leader of the House and Finance Minister Arun Jaitley strongly objected to Dr. Singh being given an opportunity to speak outside the debate on the issue.
The Honourable former Prime Minister is entitled to participate in that debate. But you can't say, I will hold up the debate, but give to the opposition a special opportunity to speak. That is something which is not acceptable.
The opposition, however, hit out at the government for not allowing the former Prime Minister to speak while reiterating their demand for the Prime Minister's presence in the House.
सभापति जी, पूरा विपक्ष एक मत है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी हाउस में आए और तब इसके पर डिबेट शुरू होगी और उनको पूरे समय तक बैठना चाहिए। मैं क्या करूं? सदस्यों की बात सुननी चाहिए। मैं क्या करूं? उनको जवाब देना चाहिए। प्रधानमंत्री क्यों भाग रहे हैं?
Sir, if you have disallowed, you have disallowed. That is your call. The point here is the former Prime Minister of this country has stood up. He wants to speak. Please take a seat in the House. Take a seat. I allowed him. I allowed him. In the House.
The Congress members then marched into the well, raising the pitch against the government. As the verbal exchanges between the opposition and the Treasury benches escalated, the chair adjourned the House till noon.
House is adjourned up to 12:00 hours.
Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, India is trying to resolve the problems arising out of demonetization of the 500 and 1,000 rupees currency notes in countries like Nepal and Bhutan, where the rupee is accepted as currency. The RBI is in touch with central banks of Nepal and Bhutan to find an amicable solution to the related problems. The governments of both Bhutan and Nepal had raised questions about this, and interministerial task force is also looking into issues related to foreign nationals, NRIs and diplomatic missions in India.
So both the Nepal Rashtra Bank and the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan are in touch with the Reserve Bank of India regarding facilitation of collection and deposit of Indian Bank old series notes of rupees 500 and 1000 that are already in stock of the central banks and other financial institutions and general public in Nepal and Bhutan under existing provisions. The matter has been raised by both the governments of Nepal and Bhutan as well with us. The government is considering the matter, and the RBI will remain in touch with their counterparts in Nepal and Bhutan.
Well, the Union Cabinet on Thursday discussed amending laws to levy close to 60% income tax on unaccounted deposits in banks above a threshold post-demonetization of high-denomination currency notes. There was no official briefing on what transpired in the meeting that was called at short notice by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Sources said that the government was keen to tax all unaccounted money deposited in bank accounts after it allowed the banned currency to be deposited in bank accounts during a 50-day window from November 10th to December 30th. Sources also said that the government planned to bring an amendment to the Income Tax Act during the current winter session of Parliament to levy a tax that will be higher than 45% tax and penalty charged on black money disclosed in the one-time income disclosure scheme that ended on September 30th. The move comes amid banks reporting over 21,000 crore rupees being deposited in zero-balance Jan Dhan accounts in 2 weeks after the 500 and 1,000 rupee notes were banned, which authorities apprehend may be the laundered black money. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When we see stars with the naked eye, we see them twinkle. And that is not because that the star itself is twinkling, it is because the light is passing through the Earth's atmosphere. Disturbances or irregularities in the atmosphere cause the twinkling. One of the Nobel Prizes in physics was given to people who studied one very particular interesting pulsar.
Watch Eureka with Senior Professor Yashwant Gupta, Dean of GMRT Observatory, Pune on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, 2 terrorists and 1 army Jawan were killed early today in a gunfight between security forces and militants in Kashmir's Bandipora district. The encounter started this morning in the Manspora area of Bandipora. Combing operations are currently underway. Another encounter in Kashmir's Sopore town is underway. The encounter in Tujar village of Sopore Baramulla district started when the security forces cordoned the area late on Thursday evening. After the report about the presence of militants in the area, the security forces from the army, police and CRPF reached the spot. Meanwhile, India on Thursday strongly reacted to continued ceasefire violations by Pakistan and the killing of its 3 soldiers, saying Islamabad should focus its energies on stemming the rot of terrorism. The MEA also took a dig at Pakistan Prime Minister's Foreign Affairs Advisor Sartaj Aziz for his remarks that Islamabad would reach out to Indians who are opposed to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
India on Thursday rejected allegations by Pakistan of being denied overflight clearance, something which Islamabad claimed was in violation of a 1991 agreement. The Ministry of External Affairs rubbished the claim, saying the onus was on Pakistan to provide information regarding the nature of cargo and passengers in case overflight clearance was required for a military aircraft.
As per Appendix A to the 1991 agreement, essential information concerning the nature of cargo and passengers is required in respect of military aircraft. Requests from the government of Pakistan were received in a couple of cases without this essential information.
India also reacted strongly to reports of Pakistan setting up a special group to expose New Delhi's alleged atrocities in Kashmir, saying it should focus its energies on stemming the rot of terrorism instead of making baseless charges. India also took a dig at Pakistan Prime Minister's Foreign Affairs Advisor Sartaj Aziz for his remarks that Islamabad would reach out to Indians who are opposed to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Pakistan will be well advised to focus its energies on stemming the rot of terrorism instead of expending its breath in making baseless allegations. As far as the so-called outreach effort is concerned, I think he would be well advised to rather view Pakistanis to end his government's policy of state sponsorship of terrorism.
Swaroop also gave details of the démarche issued to Pakistan Deputy High Commissioner on Wednesday over the killing of 3 Indian soldiers. He said India strongly deplored the tacit support of the Pakistani army to arm terrorists who targeted an Indian patrol near the line of control in Machil sector. 3 Indian soldiers were killed in the ambush and the body of one of them was mutilated.
The government conveyed its grave concerns at the continued attempts to infiltrate armed terrorists from across the line of control to target Indian posts and patrols. During the last week alone, there have been 15 instances where terrorists indulged in nefarious actions from the vicinity of Pakistani army posts across the line of control.
The MEA also confirmed that External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will not attend the Heart of Asia conference in Amritsar next week due to illness, even as the government remained non-committal about a possible Indo-Pakistan bilateral meeting on the sidelines of the event. Swaroop said talks and terror cannot go hand in hand. Pakistan also upped the ante against India, warning its neighbour that its military was capable of responding to any aggression. Pakistan Army Chief General Rahil Sharif saying if ever Pakistan launched surgical strikes, India would not be able to forget it for generations. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on to some international news now, at least 100 Shia pilgrims were killed in a suicide truck bomb attack in Iraq on Thursday. The blast struck at a road stop near a petrol station and a restaurant in Al-Hila town, around 100 kilometers south of Baghdad. The road stop was full of people returning from the Arbain pilgrimage in the city of Karbala. Iranians and Bahrainis are among the victims. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for the attack. Up to 20 million people visited Karbala, home to the mausoleum of Imam Hussein, for Arbain this year.
حدث اليوم هذا الاستهداف التفجير الإجرامي في ناحية الشوملي على طريق السريع اللي شفناه سيارة انفجرت نوع صهريج بداخل المحطة وأدت إلى مقتل أكثر من 70 أو 80 شخص استشهدوا بهذا المكان وأغلبيتهم من زوار الإمام الحسين عليه السلام الراجعين إلى ديارهم.
Well, about 80,000 people have been told to evacuate their homes as wildfires swept into Israel's third largest city of Haifa. The fires follow a 2-month drought and are being fanned by strong winds in the north of the city. Wildfires are also threatening homes near Jerusalem and in the West Bank. According to Israel Police Chief, arson was suspected in some cases, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said any such attacks would amount to terror. Public Security Minister Gilad Erdan said that 8 people had been arrested. He said arson was suspected in about half of the fires and police had found flammable materials and liquids poured in certain areas. Meanwhile, hundreds of military reservists have been called up to help battle the 3-day outbreak of fires. More than 130 people have been taken to hospital with minor injuries, mainly from smoke inhalation, but most were later discharged. Several countries, including Cyprus, Russia, Italy, Croatia and Greece, have sent help and equipment, including aircraft, to help tackle the blaze. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said that he had asked for a super-tanker firefighting aircraft to be sent from the United States. Earlier in 2010, 42 people died in a fire on Mount Carmel, just south of Haifa.
שנגרמת כתוצאה מהצתה או מהסתה להצתה היא טרור לכל דבר ועניין, ואנחנו נתייחס לכך בהתאם.
היום כבר די ברור שחלק נכבד מהדלקות, המקור שלהם התחיל כהצתה מכוונת, ובעצם כפי שאמר ראש הממשלה, יש כאן תופעה חדשה של...
As you see, the darkness came down, and we are still in the process of trying to distinguish the fire which is still going on. It's the first time in the history of the city that in very many positions the fire broke off and caused damage, and thanks God it didn't cause damage by people. The people didn't get hurt, only property.
And a short while back, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reacted sharply to criticism by the opposition that the government was ill-prepared for the demonetization move. Speaking at a book release function at Parliament House Annex C, the Prime Minister said those opposing the move are angry about the fact that the government did not give them any time to prepare for the consequences.
इस सरकार के इस निर्णय के संबंध में बहुत कम आलोचना हो रही है, लेकिन कुछ लोगों की आलोचना क्या है? आलोचना ये है कि सरकार ने पूरी तैयारी नहीं की। मैं समझता हूं कि मुद्दा ये नहीं है कि सरकार ने पूरी तैयारी नहीं की। ऐसे लोगों की पीड़ा इस बात की है कि सरकार ने किसी को तैयारी करने का समय नहीं दिया।
Well, that's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.